This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Raise your hand if you've heard or read the word hearsay about 1.5 million times since we learned about Donald Trump's Ukraine nonsense. Yeah, that's no accident. You're supposed to hear it over and over and over again. It serves to provide talking points to already brainwashed Republicans in the hope that it will become a part of the conversation with politically undecided Americans. Mind you, Trump and his team of propagandists certainly want to deliver their talking points to MAGA hats everywhere, but the target demographic of these lies and misdirection isn't necessarily the Trump diehards. You see, the big fat hearsay hoax is Trump's desperate attempt to confuse the folks who are still undecided as to what's really at the heart of this impeachment inquiry. Trump and the ones carrying fetid water for him are trying to plant that word, hearsay, into the psyche of undecided Americans. The big idea behind using the legal term is to distract with language that casts doubt on the credibility of the whistleblower's complaint. Hearsay has a very specific definition in federal rules of evidence, which we're about to get into. But beware that Trump and his goons are also using phrasing such as second-hand and third-hand accounts to talk about the same thing. The efforts you've likely already witnessed consist of them bemoaning the fact that the whistleblower wasn't in the room when the Ukraine call happened, despite the fact that the Intelligence Community Inspector General released a statement yesterday pushing back against Trump lies, saying, quote, as a part of his determination that the urgent concern appeared credible, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community determined that the complainant had official and authorized access to the information and sources referenced in the complainant's letter and classified appendix, including direct knowledge of certain alleged conduct, and that the complainant has subject matter expertise related to much of the material information provided. Although the complainant's letter acknowledged that the complainant was not a direct witness to the president's July 25, 2019 telephone call with the Ukrainian president, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community determined that other information obtained during the ICIG's preliminary review supported the complainant's allegations. Keep in mind, this strategy of lying about the facts comes straight from the White House talking points that got sent to House Republicans, but also because Trump hires the best people, they slept through the orientation where you learn not to hit reply all on work emails, and now all the world has access to those brilliant bullet points. Case in point, reading from their super secret talking points that they idiotically emailed to the Democrats in Congress, the real scandal here is that leaks about a second-hand account of the president's confidential telephone call with a foreign leader triggered a media frenzy of false accusations against the president and forced the president to release the transcripts. Well, maybe that's the real scandal in your head, dumbass. To the rest of us, though, the real scandal is your private attorney freelancing in foreign government interference, but of course, we're not operating on the same wavelength, are we? Trump and his lapdogs are desperate to spread that the problem is the whistleblower himself and not what the whistleblower is blowing the whistle about. I searched YouTube for Trump hearsay. Look at these screenshots. Page after page of Fox News booking numerous guests to hammer home the same point. Dozens of clips of experts pretending like the complaint should be simply dismissed because it's hearsay. I guarantee if you don't mind mental self-flagellation and actually turn on Fox News right now, there will certainly be a talking head within the first 5 minutes talking about hearsay and second-hand accounts. So what exactly is hearsay? Well, because rules of evidence in an impeachment trial follow court rules, here are Federal Rules of Evidence, Rule 801. C. Hearsay. Hearsay means a statement that, 1, the declarant does not make while testifying at the current trial or hearing, and 2, a party offers an evidence to prove the truth of the matter asserted in this statement. Hearsay is an out-of-court statement, meaning it's not made under oath. Such out-of-court statements are generally not allowed to be introduced into evidence as truth themselves. In our legal system, we generally frown upon relying upon consequence-free talk as evidence in court. Swearing an oath of truth-telling possesses weight because perjury carries with it legal, criminal consequences. Therefore, statements have to be made under oath in order to be submitted as proof of truth. However, there are about 24 exceptions in federal rules for hearsay being admissible in court. They are very specific and are usually the bane of existence for every law student studying evidence their second year in law school. But we don't even have to get into those exceptions in this video. Why? Well, it's because we don't need the whistleblower to testify as to the truth of what is written in the complaint. The complaint just gets the investigation started, just as it would if a person walked into a police station saying that they heard their neighbor bragging about killing their wife. We don't need to put the person who first alerted the cops to a possible crime to testify that the murder indeed happened. The concerned citizen in this case would be talking to the detectives in order for the police to gather all possible evidence. The police then hands over the evidence to the prosecutors who sift through it to make sure that only admissible evidence is presented in court. That same analogy applies. And the investigation is now on, all kicked off by the complaint in which the whistleblower heard from reliable colleagues who also work at the CIA that the president is playing games with our national security while having questionable conversations with Ukraine that may benefit him personally, and is then covering up those conversations by filing them away on a computer server that is meant to hold highly sensitive national security materials. The whistleblower then reported what was heard through the proper legal channels to the appropriate legal authorities. So, thank you, whistleblower. Thank you for being a brave patriot, enough to go through the legal process. Thank you for putting yourself in harm's way now that Donald is in a blind rage mode right now and is threatening your life during closed-door speeches. And at the very least, attempting to silence you through intimidation on Twitter. Seriously, thank you.